You're getting closer and closer to the primaries for the 2024 presidential election. And on both sides, we have some pretty big stories growing. On the Republican side, we have Ron DeSantis, right? He is currently in second place. And if all goes well for Trump and everything goes smoothly, he will lose and Trump will end up becoming the candidate for the Republican Party. However, due to some of these prison things going on right now, of course, that I'm sure we are all very aware of, the race could totally be stolen from him, and DeSantis could end up being the presidential nominee. On the other end, the Democratic end, we have RFK Jr., who, despite, coming into the race not too long ago, is starting to build up a little bit of a following, polling at about 15 to 20%, which isn't great, but it's a lot more than expected. And with Biden's poll numbers continuously going down, with him now being under 60% in some polls, there's a very good shot that, with a few debates, Kennedy could come out of nowhere and win that race. So, it's unlikely we will see a DeSantis Kennedy presidential election, but it is possible, and I think it's an interesting thing to look at. Originally, the idea of this video was Trump versus Kennedy, but I do think Trump would do very well in that matchup. So yeah, I don't think that's even really worth exploring. This is much more interesting in my eyes. I want to start right away with Kennedy. And obviously, we have the guaranteed blue voters. However, I do think Kennedy would struggle in a lot of these states more than a traditional Democrat would. Because despite all these states almost certainly going safe, no matter what, just for Democrats, just because of the name, he's going to have a little bit more of a struggle with the majority Democrat voters because he has a lot more of, moderate takes on some social things. I'm not a huge Kennedy guy, but I have to say, he's at least moderate on the social issues. And he has some controversial conspiracy-esque takes. Just look at him talking about the vaccine. He's creating some discussion, and that could hurt him among the majority of Democratic voters. But it could certainly help him on the Trump supporter camp. If Trump manages to, or if Trump ends up losing the primary and DeSantis wins it, Kennedy would almost certainly take a large portion of Trump's fan base, right? The MAGA community. Kennedy would do very well with MAGA Republicans. So, we still have the guaranteed normal safe blue, though. That's not going to change too much. Of course, we are living in a very polarized era. So, states typically are going to go the same direction just because it's red or blue and that's how people vote. I do think Kennedy would actually make Colorado a safe blue state, though. That's something I don't know if Biden would do. It would probably remain likely under a guy like Biden. But yeah, I think Colorado, it probably ends up going safe blue. On the other hand, on DeSantis, he's going to have this whole Midwest, as always. It's just kind of expected. He's going to take places like North Dakota, South Dakota, Iowa. Iowa actually has a pretty big MAGA base. While I tend to believe it would probably go safe, there is an argument that Iowa goes likely if Kennedy is the candidate and not Trump. Then you have Kansas, Nebraska should not have all the districts. I want to fill those in one at a time. See, there we go. All right, Nebraska is going to go pretty much safe. Missouri, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana. All the obvious ones. Tennessee. All right. Think that looks pretty good. I don't. Oh, I missed Alaska and Hawaii. I always do that. I don't know why. It's just like a guarantee for me that I'm gonna miss those two places. But yeah, that's all the safe states. Right now, but Kennedy would come out of that with a pretty solid lead, but that's not gonna change with Trump or DeSantis much. So yeah, we have that. On the likely end for Kennedy, it's gonna probably end up likely Virginia, likely New Mexico. And then, yeah, that'll be about it. Nothing too exciting on that camp. DeSantis, likely Ohio. Let's not put North Carolina in that slump. South Carolina's gonna go likely. Florida's getting more and more right, and especially with DeSantis being the candidate, you could make an argument under DeSantis, Florida would actually go safe. But I'm gonna just leave it at likely for now. All right. Yeah, now we're gonna go lean, right? So in this category, Kennedy's going to take New Hampshire. Obviously, these are all the places that you just expect a Democratic candidate to actually, be able to take. Yeah, that looks about right. Likely there. Minnesota will almost certainly be likely. I'm going to put Michigan in likely as well. Think Kennedy would do a very good job with the Trump supporters over in Michigan, and then at the same time, he's going to get the already Democrat base. So, he's going to turn that tilt into a lean for the Democrats. I think he'd do a lot better in Michigan against DeSantis than he would against Trump. I believe Trump is the only candidate that even has the potential to take Michigan. I don't view it as likely, but it is certainly possible. Um, DeSantis is, uh, honestly, Texas might not be so safe. Texas, yeah, yep, we're gonna put in tilt right there. Yeah. Oh, that seems about right. I think Kennedy. No. We're gonna put it in lean. That's about right. Lean. We're gonna put North Carolina in that same place. That's not lean. That's tilt. That's all right. And then yeah. That's the main ones. Oh, forgot Nebraska. Okay, there we go. Now we have everything that's pretty much assured. No matter who the candidate is, this is probably what's going to happen. It's going to come down to these final five states: Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Georgia. Kennedy against DeSantis, I view as actually having a shot to switch North Carolina over, but I don't view it as all that likely. Okay, starting off with Nevada, I do think DeSantis would win Nevada, not by much, but he would manage to snag it. Arizona. Now, Arizona, we have seen some interesting things come out of there. And if there was any shot of a Republican being able to win Arizona, it would be DeSantis winning it over Kennedy. Because Kennedy isn't really part of the system. He's gone against the establishment, and Arizona, because of some things with their voting, makes me think that they might not screw over the election in favor of the Democrats this time. And, DeSantis could actually take it. Not super confident on that, though. I'm going to leave Arizona in Kennedy's spot. But if anybody could win over Arizona, the only possibility I see it being would be DeSantis versus Kennedy. Because this time DeSantis is kind of the face of the establishment. He's a traditional GOP type. On the other hand, you have Kennedy, who's actually going against the establishment despite being a Democrat. So yeah, Arizona could totally go in DeSantis's favor. You know what? That's what we're doing. Arizona gets taken by DeSantis this time. However, Kennedy's going to take Georgia. Kennedy will take Georgia. Kennedy will also very likely, I see, taking Wisconsin. And then that leaves Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is a must for both candidates, obviously. And what it's going to turn out being is Kennedy wins it. Because of that Trump base, it still says there's two toss-ups. I don't know where I missed. Did I miss? Oh, yep, there we go. Okay, now we have Maine. But oh, geez, I messed up Maine. Okay, give me a second. Give me a second, guys. I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna fix this real quick. No, no, wrong district. Okay, District 2. Looking. There we go. Now Maine is fixed. That looks way better. That makes sense. I don't know why I messed it up earlier. Okay, back to it. Kennedy will end up winning Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. Why is this? These places are two liberal leaning places, right? And their entire Republican base are MAGA guys. MAGA is the main guy in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin from the Republican Party. MAGA guys like Kennedy more than they like Trump. DeSantis is a snake in our eyes. DeSantis is going behind our guy, Donald Trump, and he's hoping that he gets arrested so he gets a chance to go and run. And in the situation where DeSantis actually wins the primary and he goes up against a guy like Kennedy, Kennedy being a guy who has like similar Trump energy, seems like a guy who actually cares about the American people, seems like a regular dude, seems like a true American patriot, seems like someone who, is actually going to fight against the establishment in a similar manner of Trump, even though we may disagree with a lot of his social issues. His anti-establishment ideology makes him very favorable in the MAGA crowd, meaning that he would win over a lot of Republicans in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin while still getting the liberal vote, resulting in him winning Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. And now that I think about it, Nevada's going to go to him too. I don't, yeah. I'm in this viewpoint that Nevada, it's getting more red over time, which it certainly is. But I think DeSantis is just a guy that so many Republicans wouldn't want to vote for. Nevada would end up going Kennedy. Arizona, I have the same mentality with Arizona as Nevada, except kind of flip-flopped. Arizona's getting more blue, right? But Arizona's still a place that could go to a guy like DeSantis if he's going up against Kennedy. That's the only situation. So I'm going to leave it just because, Arizona is the least fraudulent state in the world. And yeah, that would result in it ending up tilting for DeSantis. The rest of this map, I think, is pretty accurate. Kennedy would end up winning. Kennedy would win this race. Kennedy beats DeSantis because he'd be able to get a MAGA crowd and because, he already has all the safe vote blue no matter what voters. And that would result in a Kennedy victory. DeSantis is a guy that people don't like. People outside of Florida do not like Ron DeSantis, and that's going to result in him getting massacred in a general election. And that's just the truth of it. Maybe he'd have a better shot against a guy like Biden, someone that is also hated. But yeah, against Kennedy, I mean, I see Kennedy being very successful. If you had to go against Trump, Kennedy loses. Kennedy loses a general election against Trump. Trump, people just like more. He has a bigger following, bigger base, and Kennedy voters typically are guys that would also vote for Trump. So, yeah, Kennedy wouldn't be able to beat out Trump. He wouldn't be able to get the independents on his side. Against a guy like DeSantis, I view it very likely that Kennedy wins it, resulting in Robert F. Kennedy Jr. becoming the face of America. It's an interesting one. That would be an interesting storyline. Nephew to JFK, one of the most beloved presidents of all time. Not anymore, I'd say. I think he has this nostalgia about him because, Cold War era America, and he was killed. People tend to like people who were killed. Um, People look a lot more favorably upon you if you were assassinated. You become a martyr almost, and that's true for JFK. That helped him out in the public perception of things. But yeah, Kennedy, a huge name in politics, a massive political dynasty, which does make you a little concerned if Kennedy's actually on our side and against the establishment. But, his own family has gone against him and has turned against him often. So, I think it's likely that Kennedy is on our side, which seems weird to say. But yeah, I like Kennedy. I hope he wins the primary, which is unlikely, but if he can get a debate started, which Democrats won, that would be great. That would give him a real shot. Uh, And I really don't like DeSantis, so I'd love to see Kennedy take it over DeSantis. But at the end of the day, Trump's still the guy. Hopefully, Trump can win it. All Trump needs to do is get to the general election, and at that point, I think it's his. I think he can beat Biden, and I think he can beat Kennedy's too. So yeah, we're still rocking with Trump, but in that weird scenario where we have Kennedy, DeSantis, or anybody other than Trump, really, hopefully Kennedy can come out here and win it. That would be dope. W. Kennedy. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up on that note. So if you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe. I highly appreciate it. The only way we're gonna take that back this country is together. So join the fight. I also have a Discord opened. That way you can make community with other conservatives, fellow subscribers. So that link is in the description of this video. But like I said, I'm heading out, so long. Peace out, and God bless y'all.